do. There's actually news this week, which is nice.
Podcast 16?
17.
17, motherfucker.
Nick.
Yeah, do. Holy fudge of rupees.
Welcome back, Pond. It's your two favorite koi fish, joined with K-Dog and myself.
Right
This
on.
is podcast number 17, and we actually have some news for you this week.
17. How have we made it to podcast 17?
That's just over 4 months now.
That's crazy.
We've been doing this for just over 4 months, which doesn't feel real.
No.
In the sense that, like, it doesn't feel like it's been that long at all.
No. And was this the fastest to 50 or no?
I have no idea.
Okay,
It grew the fastest out of the gate. It definitely hit 30 the quickest.
Yeah.
I know that for a fact.
So thank you very much for watching or listening and
all the above.
And coming back and
Yeah.
I think we must have a core of 50
Yes.
because that number is just like ka-choon, which is great.
And it technically is already doing better than the last video was.
So, yeah.
So all the stuff is up and to the right, which is all we can ask for at this point. And I think we even got another subscriber this week, so we're up to 51.
51, woohoo!
Which is a party.
Love it.
But
Thank you.
Appreciate all the support and love, you guys.
Absolutely.
But we actually have some news this week, like we said. And, some of it's pretty exciting. Some of it's, just kind of housekeeping issues.
Yeah.
Nothing all that wild.
So, again, we are about a week away from the start of the new season.
Mm-hmm.
And, again, that means, teams have to get their houses in order.
Yes.
And so they have been very actively doing that. And franchise tag,
Galore.
the ability to tag people ended yesterday.
Right.
And so several different people, have been tagged. I don't know if we want to talk about that at all.
We might as well. We might as well go over some of them.
Yeah. And also, what was interesting is kind of a list of who the free agents are that are still out there. We'll hit that as well.
Yeah.
But let's see, where do we have the...
Out of the gate, Michael Pittman Jr. got the tag.
Right.
That was the first time the Colts have used their franchise tag since Pat McAfee.
No kidding.
So that was in 2013, I believe.
Punter.
Yeah, a
had
punter.
a franchise tag.
Because that was the next year after they just disbanded the team, or 2 years after they disbanded the team for the most part, so all they wanted to keep was the punter.
I would never have guessed that.
That was the stat I saw online. I'll double check it when I'm editing it. But
I believe it.
It's crazy to think that's the first time they've had to use it.
Wild information, man.
Yeah.
Okay. Who else we got?
Tag L'Jarius Sneed for the Chiefs. He was tagged.
Yep.
A couple days ago at some point, which is a great tag for them.
I think that
it's a non-exclusive tag though.
Okay.
So I don't remember the exact definition between exclusive and non-exclusive, but to my knowledge, I would assume that means he can shop other options, maybe.
I think the only tag that still remains that allows you to do to shop other options is a transition tag.
Okay, so he's with the Chiefs for another year.
He's with the Chiefs.
Okay, so he'll probably be gone after next year because he was all high and mighty about getting more money.
No kidding.
That's why they tagged him, so that he won't have to, or he won't be able to.
And by the way, the transition tag was used for only the 6th time in 15 years.
Jesus.
It was used on Kyle Duggar
for
the Patriots.
Yep.
And so what that means is the transition tag is simply if the player and the team agree to continue negotiating, what it means is they can still do that now, but he still has the ability to shop.
Okay.
And the team still has the ability to meet whatever he's offered by another team.
Interesting.
So the transition tag is merely an extended version of the franchise tag.
Huh.
So I didn't know what the hell it was. I had to look it up.
If it's only been used 6 times, there's probably plenty of people with that question, to be honest.
Yeah.
As for the Cincinnati fans, T. Higgins got tagged. I know that happened a while ago, but I don't know if we talked about it or not.
I don't think we did, yeah.
So that's exciting. I mean, that's about what you expected. Boyd will probably get sent somewhere else. Higgins will get a massive deal after this upcoming year.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much on par. I think Joe Mixon has been rumored to be leaving, maybe not leaving. Yeah. So with question marks in the air, it makes sense they used it on him.
Right.
Josh Allen for the Jaguars got franchise tagged as well.
Yeah, that's a huge one, too.
Yeah, it's good.
That's a great player.
For their sake, it's good they're keeping him, but at the same time, that means Calvin Ridley might be on the way out.
Yep.
So that'll be interesting to see where Calvin Ridley goes. He is still a dominant wide receiver.
Yep.
It doesn't look on paper like it, but honestly, the Jaguars had a sneaky bunch of wide receivers last year, and for whatever reason, Trevor Lawrence just could not get him the ball, it seemed like, most of the time.
Very frustrating.
So watching where Calvin Ridley goes, I think
Yeah.
is going to be huge because that's the opportunity. Now, if the Bengals didn't want to sign Boyd, I don't know if the Bengals are going to want to sign Calvin Ridley.
Right.
The Chargers will be without Mike Williams. It'd be awesome to see Calvin Ridley go to the Chargers if he believes in Herbert and Harbaugh. Don't know if that's even a possibility, but just floating out there.
Yep.
If the Colts picked up Calvin Ridley, that would be crazy. Any of these new teams getting new quarterbacks would also be kind of nuts. So something to keep on your radar to look out for. I don't know. Obviously, I have no fucking idea. I'm just speculating, but it would be cool.
Sure.
As for tags, I think that's all I have. Zach Ertz did sign with the Commanders.
Did he really? No kidding.
I think it's a 1-year deal with them. Not sure. I know he signed with them, though. And that'll be interesting as the Commanders kind of find themselves getting out of what was probably one of the shittiest points in their franchise history with their last owner and whatnot. So,
Yep.
Step in the right direction.
Yeah,
Zach Ertz is a great tight end. So,
it's a great signing, I think. Yeah.
on the subject of tight ends, Dalton Schultz
Yep.
got re-signed
Yep.
with the Texans,
Yep.
which, I mean, come on. He's an amazing tight end. They'll be fine. Stroud's looking great. They'll have Tank Dell back. They're in a great spot as it is. No need to glaze that too much. Where else was I? Russell Wilson is now gone from the Broncos, as we kind of expected and suspected. That's wild.
And, oh my gosh, the cap hit that they're going to be paying for him for forever.
He gets a guaranteed 32 or 39 mil. They cap hit at 83. I mean, that just, and I think I've said it before, Jordan, I'm sorry, I'm shitting on your team, but I hate that guy so much. Not Russell Wilson, the owner. He always buys teams.
Oh, yeah.
Like, as in buys players to make the team good.
Right.
Elway.
I think didn't the team sell?
Oh, the Kroger guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, never mind. He's not in that anymore.
Yep.
But Kroger money, you know what it is.
Yeah, so these
or Walmart money.
So you said Calvin Ridley?
Yeah.
Yeah, Walmart. Same Walmart. The Walton. That's right. Yep.
Jesus.
We got there.
Sorry, guys. Post work. We're getting in the groove. We'll be good here in about 10 minutes.
Yeah. So players not tagged and now scheduled to become free agents: Chris Jones, Christian Wilkins, Saquon Barkley, Josh Jacobs, Michael Onwenu.
No idea who he is. I left him off my list.
Baker Mayfield, Calvin We Xavier McKinney.
You beat me to my punchline. I had
shit, dude.
My
you did?
list.
Oh, fuck. Sorry, dude.
Same tweet.
Oh, shit. Sorry.
No, it's fine. We were getting there. But yeah, so Russell Wilson gone and that cap hit.
Yeah.
What would you guess, just to give a zesty prediction on where he's going? Steelers? Patriots?
I don't know why I see the Patriots.
I could see it too.
And here's the thing.
It feels like Mac Jones is done.
Yeah, Mac Jones is done. You got new coach there.
I mean, Bailey Zappi almost did better than him in most
really
of the games.
And again, it's an upgrade for where they were.
It is.
So
and you can get a good deal on him.
Yep.
He's still a good quarterback.
He is.
It just didn't.
It didn't work.
That trade the Broncos
horrible.
Seahawks did will go down as maybe the worst trade deal in NFL history.
So I just really think that the Patriots, it's one of the places that he could go where it would just be a leap upward.
Yes.
So
I completely
that's the
agree.
thing. He can't go. I don't think he can go someplace to where he's not an upgrade.
I agree with that.
So
that's why Steelers Patriots stood out to me as a possibility.
And you never know. I mean, the Steelers aren't a bad suggestion either. That could be.
Or Vikings.
Yeah, could be there too.
Because it sounds like Kirk's on his way out.
Yeah.
I don't know. This is all. Everything around the draft is bullshit to get people better draft positions, to pump people down. This is the absolute worst part of the season where it's nothing but negativity towards draft players and actual players.
Yep.
But it'll be interesting to see where it goes nonetheless.
For sure.
I can't picture that man in anything but a Seahawks. But now after the Broncos, I still can't even see him in like Patriots, Steelers, Vikings, Falcons, whatever.
No doubt.
But even with that, Chris Jones, free agent, I mean, you have to imagine they keep him, right?
He's not tagged.
He's not tagged.
So
because they got Snead.
Yeah.
So
what do they do there, right?
I mean,
he's going to get big bucks. And again, you got your rings.
Yeah,
you got your rings. You go get paid, and that never usually works out so well.
No, I mean
the player usually kind of,
no income tax. Where are those states? That Texas, Florida.
Yeah, yep, exactly.
So can we imagine he goes Houston, Dallas, Jaguars, Tampa Bay?
What we can say, strangely. It's wild when you see a team that's done really well, then you go to their cap space.
Oh, yeah.
And when you find a team that's done really well and has a ton of cap space, That's a pretty good bet for like a Chris Jones, right?
That's why Texans stand out to me.
So-
I think their cap space is in good order.
Texans are the fourth highest. They have $70 million in free cap space.
That's a lot of money.
Yep. The Commanders, well, we'll come back to this, but the Lions are also another really good team.
No, that's an
That has
interesting.
$51 million available. So they're in the top 10 with the most cap room.
Can you imagine Chris Jones with David or Aaron, Hutchinson, whatever his name is? I can't remember.
Aiden Hutchinson.
Aiden,
Yeah.
thank you.
I could see him going there.
That
because,
would be crazy.
Because he could get paid, and he brings that championship
Mentality
attitude,
and vibe.
and he fits in with a Dan Campbell.
That
I
would
could
be-
totally see that one.
That would be wild.
I could see him with the Texans too, but I don't know why the Lions kind of stick out there.
It's good.
We'll see.
That's a good thing to point out. I didn't even think about that. Saquon Barkley.
I see a lot of things indicating him to Dallas,
I've seen a lot of everything.
but
Nothing makes sense to me.
No.
Because it's going to be who likes him. I feel
Right.
like. I don't know
Right.
if it's going to be necessarily who he picks, given not injury prone, but
Yeah.
injury prone. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So that'll be an interesting one to watch.
for sure.
Josh Jacobs, I think, is hotter than Saquon.
I would think so.
I would say whoever lands Josh Jacobs has a good 1 to 2 year running back at
Yep.
least.
Yep.
But again, I don't know if he re-signs with the Raiders, but that organization's a mess. If
Oh.
I'm him, I'm seeing this as a way to get out.
We got the Commanders with $91 million free.
Ugh.
They need a running back.
They need everything, damn near.
Yep. We got the Patriots with $88 million free. They need a ton of shit.
Yeah.
The Titans, who have lost Derrick Henry, they're third. They've got $75 million available.
I mean,
that's a place you can see Josh Jacobs.
it's a
going.
running back carousel this year.
It really is.
And
That's
between
any-
these two plus Saquon and Austin, Derrick Henry and
Yep,
Austin Eckler,
yep.
I don't know where any of the four of them are going.
And you still, even after that, you got Tony Pollard, who's going to go
Yeah.
somewhere. So I don't know.
Oof. This will be interesting.
Interesting stuff.
Didn't Baker already, or is it just rumors coming out of him re-signing with Tampa?
I thought so. Yeah,
Well,
I thought the same thing.
We'll leave him off. It must just be in general. Maybe he hasn't signed it yet.
Just that he wasn't tagged,
Right.
But he's still officially a free agent.
Got it.
But probably on that list of those, the majority of those will find their way back to their team.
That's kind of how I feel. That's
Yeah.
why I'm not as up and at it with Chris Jones and maybe Josh Jacobs. It feels like those two have a good shot at probably going back to their teams.
Yeah.
But at the same time, who knows?
Yep.
Plenty of shit can happen.
Yep.
Chargers released Eric Kendricks. That's a huge one for the Chargers only because he was, I think, had the second most tackles on the team last year
Okay.
from the Vikings previously. But they freed up a lot of cap space, so I'm okay with that. They'll figure it out. I'm not worried. Mike Williams is probably next on the chopping block, followed
Yeah.
by Bosa or Khalil Mack. So
Yeah.
that'll be plenty of space freed. But new head coach, who knows how and GM,
Be interesting to see what Jim Harbaugh does.
how he either manages it and keeps everyone or manages it and gets rid of a few.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with that regardless. Seattle released Jamal Adams and Quandre Diggs.
Yeah,
That's huge.
that is big.
I mean, who knows? Jamal Adams, I think, is still a pretty good cornerback safety.
Yep.
And the same with Quandre Diggs. I'm just not as familiar with him.
Right.
So
Me neither.
it'll be interesting to see where they go. All
Yeah.
good stuff. Should be a fun offseason, which
think
should
so
lead
as
to
well.
plenty more of things we can talk about, which will be nice.
No doubt.
But as for the news, that's about all I have. I did I wouldn't say quick rundown, but relatively quick rundown of all the news that I've seen.
No, that's good stuff.
You got any combines?
That's what I was just going to actually.
Because
So, yeah, we got a couple things we can hit on here. Combine winners and losers. Okay.
yeah.
So Xavier Worthy, the wide receiver from Texas,
Yep.
who ran the fastest 40,
Oh, yeah.
4.21, the fastest ever.
Mm-hmm. That's crazy that he broke the record.
That's insane. So this guy is climbing up the board fast.
Yep.
No pun intended there on the speed thing.
Speed kills, baby.
Troy Fountainu, a guard tackle from
I
Washington.
feel like I remember seeing his name on a lot of mock drafts.
Yeah. He moved up, had a really good combine. Let's see, the guy, I don't know. This included, out of other offensive tackles, 6'9" Joe Alt.
Oh, yeah, I've seen.
6'8" Tyler Guyton.
Okay.
And 6'8" Amarius Mims. But the last day of the combine, it was Troy Fountainu that had a really good workout.
Well, good on him.
So we'll see what happens with that. Chop Robinson from Penn State, a defensive end, had really good times. 4.48 on his 40-yard dash, which is the 5th best mark since 2003 of any pass rusher weighing more than 250 pounds.
Damn.
So,
Jesus.
Crazy shit. Braden Fisk, a defensive tackle from Florida State, 6'4", what is it, 4.78 40, which was unmatched among all defensive tackles.
Damn.
And I believe his vertical, it was his short shuttle was quicker than Aaron Donald's was, as a point of reference.
Okay.
And shockingly, a 5th player on the list here, Quinyon Mitchell, cornerback from the MAC, from Toledo.
Oh, good on him.
Great speed, blazed 4.33 40-yard. Good for second at the cornerback position.
Hell yeah, good on him.
And then there's a few other players here that moved up too. Not really anyone too noteworthy.
Fair. Did anybody plummet?
Yes. Number 1, Kalen King, cornerback for Penn State.
Oh boy.
So his 4.61 at the 40-yard dash was really raised questions about his ability to turn and run with receivers downfield.
Oh, geez.
Braylon Trice, a defensive end from Washington. Again, speed and cones, very slow. Not a lot of bend, which is what you look for in a pass rusher, defensive end.
Right.
And then this guy was kind of Cameron Kinchins, safety from Miami, Florida. He's 6'5" and 215.
Okay.
And his 40-yard dash was not very good. It was tied for worst of all safeties.
Oh, dear.
And also struggled with backpedaling during some of the drills, which kind of leads you to believe that he'd have problems in zone-heavy schemes.
Yeah.
I'll give you the 4 and 5 too. Leonard Taylor, defensive tackle from Miami, 7.81 on his 3-cone drill. Again, that's kind of where they're kind of looking at how they kind of side to side and move up and side to side and move. So that's not good. That was when I was doing mock drafts, these were all people that I actually thought looked kind of good. So, you never know how that translates from a combine to a game.
That's the one thing about the combine that's always been kind of funny is it's like you do all these drills, but in reality, you could have the fastest whatever time, and if you just can't seem to read a receiver, it will never matter.
Exactly.
So take it with a grain of salt, but it does indicate typically how people are going to draft at the very least, whether or not they're good or not.
Last one that was kind of a dropper, Bucky Irving, running back from Oregon, and just the speed wasn't there, and overall kind of subpar in his run testing. So
that stinks.
We'll see what happens there. But there's the combine rundown. The combine runs it's a week.
Yeah.
And just a great opportunity for all the players to be seen in one spot. Yeah. All the scouts, owners, coaches, whoever wants to go. I mean, that's really the whole. We talked a little bit about that last week, but that's the notion of it anyway.
For sure. And how many mock drafts would you say you've done at this point?
I'm probably at 80.
Damn.
So
will we give it an official mock draft come the week before the combine, or at least whatever iteration you're on?
Yeah. So we have roughly a month, roughly little under 2 months to go.
Little under 2.
Draft is on April 27th. So and certainly as we get closer to that, we'll get our rankings and all that shit. But yeah, fun stuff.
It is getting to that season.
And the combine really helps kind of reshape maybe where you were looking at players previous to the combine. So it's kind of fun because when you do the mocks, the players have moved around a little bit from where they were. So if you kind of have your sweethearts that they're not in the same place as they were, so it shakes it up.
Exactly. So. And on top of all of that, it sounds like there's a lot of news coming out that there's going to be the first 4 quarterbacks go right out of the gate.
Sounds like it's going to be right up top, doesn't it?
Which would be crazy if the Chargers had to pick between Marvin Harrison Jr., Odunze, and Neighbors. But
just to come back and close this one out, you asked the question, the dead money for Russell Wilson. So, largest single-season dead cap hits in NFL history.
Oh, my God.
I'm going to go count back to 1.
Okay, 5 to 1.
Yep. At 5, Tom Brady with the Patriots, I think. 2023, that would be the Buccaneers.
Yeah.
$35.1 million.
Okay.
4 was Russell Wilson in 2024. Would that have been for Seattle?
2024?
No, that would have to be
That would be this one.
That's the Broncos. $35.4 million hit they'll take this year.
Jesus.
Number 3 is Aaron Rodgers, 40.3
with Packers.
This is 2023, so
that been Jets.
I guess the Jets.
Yeah.
Okay. Matt Ryan in 2022 was 40.5.
That been in the Colts.
Yeah, probably so.
Okay.
And then number 1 is the cap hit that the Broncos will take for Wilson in 2025, which is $49.6 million.
Yep.
The largest single season dead cap hits in NFL history.
Good Lord.
So that's crazy shit.
I mean, at least they rip it off like a Band-Aid. They can kick that down the road, and as the salary cap increases, it won't be as bad. But
$85 million in over 2 years for the Broncos in terms of the hit.
Yeah, not great. Not looking so hot immediately.
No.
But I will say that once they announced that Russell Wilson will not be returning, the odds of them to win Super Bowl did not change. So that tells you a lot about what the odds makers thought.
It really does, doesn't it?
It's unfortunate. The guy's had a hell of a career and just had a hell of a last 2 years.
Yeah. It's amazing how bad. I don't know.
Yeah, I think the organization was going through some stuff, honestly.
Yeah,
but
true. The big transition there being bought and all that. I don't know. Anyway.
The vision's dead. Sorry, Broncos fans, but you'll get them in 2025.
Yep.
As for that, I think that does it for NFL news and combine news.
Yep.
And
franchise tag catches us up where we are at the NFL season. We get a lot of activities starting next week.
Yep.
Usually, so the new season starts on March 13th.
Right.
And usually a couple days before that, you'll start hearing some things like come out as far as so-and-so's, come to agreement. But they can't actually sign the deal until the 13th.
Right.
So we'll definitely have a lot of stuff next week.
There should be, and maybe even some surprises to keep it interesting. But all we can do is hope.
And certainly teams signing their own people, I think that can start anytime.
Yeah.
So
as they
we'll probably
deals.
see some of that kind of activity as well. And
I would hope.
Yeah.
For the sake of the show. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, for our St. Patty's Day extravaganza next week, we'll certainly be having some more stuff come up.
Yes, no doubt about it. But as for that, I think we move on to the 2012 draft review.
Redraft, let's do it.
And we're hitting it off.
Yeah,
let me just get a nice clean.
Indeed.
Move that out of the way. All right.
Rock on.
2012 draft. I tried to find fun notes for the 2012 season to kind of tie in with all this. Didn't do it. So you get them for 2013. You can wait. You can wait another week for that. But out of the gate, first overall pick of this draft was Andrew Luck. What a poor job the Colts did of keeping him alive.
It just did not pan out.
And it is so unfortunate.
It's probably one of the saddest stories, in my opinion, for a player of that caliber to just get the shit beat out of him.
Constantly.
Yeah.
I mean, ruthlessly almost.
And he was a tough dude. There's no doubt.
Well, he took those hits. That was the worst part about it. His body was crumbling.
Yeah.
And there was nothing he could do about it.
No.
I think it would have been, I guess, if he won comeback player of the year in 2018. 2017 is when he got knocked out towards the beginning of the year, wasn't it?
I think so. That would make sense.
I mean, unbelievable stats. I think he must have only been in the league for probably 6 years-ish, maybe 7.
I think it's even less. Yeah, maybe so.
But
maybe so.
I mean, he was hurt for so much of that and so unfortunate.
Yeah, 7 seasons.
7 seasons?
Yep.
Okay.
You got it.
Man, that sucks. But he would have been one of the greatest quarterbacks.
Yep.
Or he would have been up there, I should say.
He would have been up there.
He was still competing against Tom Brady and some of those other quarterbacks of the era. But good Lord, what a just tough way to lose, And they've been kind of dealing with that for the last, what would that be, 7 years?
Yeah.
Because they went from Andrew Luck to Phillip Rivers, from Rivers to Carson Wentz, from Carson Wentz to Matt Ryan, from Matt Ryan to Nick Foles to Anthony Richardson, back to Gardner Minshew.
Jeez.
They kind of have a Browns train going on right now.
They really do.
And it's not even supposed to be that way because AR was supposed to stay healthy. He didn't. Carson Wentz was supposed to stay healthy. He didn't. And Nick Foles was with one of the two of those veteran quarterbacks. I can't remember who.
Yeah.
But that is just a tough way to go out.
Yep.
But it is what it is. That was the first overall pick. We moved to the second pick that would have been Washington Redskins at the time, RG3.
And man, that dude was frustrating as fuck for Cowboy fans.
Well, out of the gate,
he was bust on the scene, and they were doing all that run pass option, and I mean the guy was not a very thick dude. I mean when you watch him play, I mean he was kind of skinny looking.
He was
incredibly talented. I can't believe he actually played 8 years.
He played a while, and he was Rookie of the Year.
Yeah,
over Andrew Luck in 2012.
That 2012 season, man, he was just like throwing the ball everywhere. The Redskins were on fire. It was
everything looked great for them.
Everything looked great. Yep.
It's crazy to think about now, because I think at the time that was just after Michael Vick, maybe, or somewhere in there. So he was getting compared to Michael Vick a lot, and he was running like Michael Vick.
Yeah.
Not beating dogs the same, but doing pretty well for himself on the Redskins.
Oh yeah. Dude's now on what, ESPN or one of those things.
He's one of the pretty.
I like him. Yeah,
I think he's a pretty good analysis.
He always has something pretty good to it, and he usually calls it for what it is. And I agree.
Saw him on one of the casts at one point for college football with Taylor Lewan and the other guy he's always with from Barstool, but they always he's a funny guy. I like him a lot.
Agree.
He had a great career. I mean, for first and second pick, those are pretty solid. You really can't interchange them much because they both played about the same time too.
Exactly.
Trent Richardson, 3rd overall, running back for the Browns. I mean, if you're getting picked 3rd overall, you're probably damn good. The problem is he went to the Browns at that time.
Yep.
So your career's not going to add up to much.
And he really ended up getting traded to the Colts at some point there.
Yeah.
And that's really where he played his best football. Was with the Colts.
And that's good on him. I mean, I didn't have much on him there.
No, I think that's about all there is.
Sorry about it. Vikings took Matt Khalil, offensive tackle out of USC, 4th overall pick. I mean, other than being injury prone, it looked like he had a really good career for an offensive tackle.
He did. I mean, he had Pro Bowl, first team All-American in college, all-rookie team in 2012 when he was drafted, Pro Bowl his rookie year, played 4 years for the Vikings, a year for the Panthers, and then wrapped it up basically with the Texans. So, but he was very solid for sure.
Nothing you can do there.
No.
5th pick, Jaguars, Justin Blackmon, wide receiver. I don't think his career went necessarily how they pictured it, given he had 2 DUIs and 1 possession of weed, and then got banned from the NFL.
He had a lot of comparisons coming out to Dez Bryant.
Wow.
He came from Oklahoma, just like Dez.
Right.
6'1", 210, kind of that bigger wide receiver. But, yeah, I mean...
Once you start piling on all the extracurricular stuff, it's hard.
And he was on the all-rookie team in 2012, too, in the NFL.
Damn.
It just went downhill after that, so...
Yeah, sorry. T's and P's to that guy.
Watch the Mary Jane.
Yeah, watch. At that time, careful. At least. It seems like it's slowly getting faded out. Yeah. No pun intended, but faded out, which is good for them. Morris Claiborne.
Mo Claiborne. This is like the highest draft pick the Cowboys had, I don't know, probably since Troy Aikman, something like that, in 1989. But he ended up playing with the Chiefs, played for the Cowboys for 4 years, finished his career with the Chiefs. He was solid. He was not great. And honestly, I remember this draft pretty well. I wanted Mark Barron, the guy that got picked next. I wanted the Cowboys to take him. So there you go.
Hard to compare the stats. It doesn't seem like you missed out on much looking back.
Yeah.
But, who knows what it would have been either way.
Yep.
But that leads into the 7th pick. Buccaneers got Mark Barron.
Yep.
At the time, he was the highest selected Alabama defensive back in school history.
No shit.
According to sources. But, this was in 2012. It's probably changed since then, to be completely honest with you.
2 years with the Buccaneers, and then really he made his mark with the Rams the next 4 years. That's really but he was on the all-rookie team in 2012.
Yeah.
So,
hey, he was out there. Dolphins had the 8th pick with Ryan Tannehill.
So
wow. This is where the legacy begins.
Yes, and so we know the journeyman has made his
mark all over the league.
Really, yeah. So now the most recently the Titans. So I guess he's still with the Titans now.
I think technically he is, but towards the end there they were swapping in
kind of fading him out, right?
Yeah, with that guy that the Titans got this past year.
Yeah.
Not Malik Neighbor. No, I'm thinking of the draft right now.
I know who you're talking about.
Willis? Malik Willis?
Yes. Yep.
Or no.
Something Willis, I think.
Yeah. So, well, you get the gist. You guys know.
He was the 2019 Comeback Player of the Year.
I remember that.
So
that was bizarre seeing him as a Comeback Player of the Year.
Yeah.
But he also made the Pro Bowl and led the league in passer rating that year, so he went off. This is where our boy comes in. 9th overall, Panthers selected Luke Kuechly.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, what a phenomenal! So I guess you'd have to say he is the best player so far in this draft. Looking back.
Oh yeah, no, I agree.
From the standpoint of his career, and I mean, you talk about. I mean, you got them all here. Defensive Player of the Year, Defensive Rookie of the Year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, five-time first team All Pro.
Bit of a mouthful there.
Bleh. And Pro Bowls. Oh my gosh, the guy's done everything.
7 Pro Bowls for that guy. Crazy. And the only reason he's not there is because he killed himself. Well,
yeah.
Not literally. Wait a minute.
But yeah.
Destroyed his body in the process of murdering others.
He really did, didn't he?
It is what it is.
Yep. So he played for them for 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
And then when he retired, he was actually a pro scout for them for a season in 2020, 2021.
Probably
so that's pretty wild.
How the team started going. He was like, you know what? Don't need to do this. You guys will be fine without me.
So you went to Boston College, but he's from Cincinnati.
Oh, that's crazy.
So he went to Saint Xavier.
Okay.
In Cincinnati, and so there you go.
Amen.
I mean, great player, without question, a Hall of Famer.
I didn't. Yeah, no doubt. He'll be quick in there.
Yep.
Which should be coming up, honestly. But I can't remember what the timeline is for how many years you have to be out.
We'll have to
5
do
years?
that. I think it's
6?
longer than that, actually. Okay.
Well, 10th pick overall, the Bills selected Stephon Gilmore.
Yep.
Which is crazy to think about because I did not realize the Bills drafted him.
I didn't either.
With how well he done on the Patriots and how well he's done on the Cowboys, I guess I didn't think he was drafted by the Patriots, but it wasn't the Bills I thought they got him from.
He was there for 4 years.
He's been in the league for a while.
He has.
Well, I guess 11 years. We're going over the 2012 draft, but I couldn't believe that he's done this well and still in it.
Yeah, he played for Dallas this year. He was solid. And when Diggs went down for Dallas, I mean, he was a good one to have in there for sure. So he won a Super Bowl, Defensive Player of the Year in 2019. I mean, NFL interception coach. I mean, the guy's got all the accolades.
Yeah, he's
the All Dynasty team for the Patriots.
He's got some crazy achievements. So good on him.
Yep, guy's got 31 career interceptions.
Damn.
So that's pretty good.
Over 11 years, 12 seasons. Yeah. That's crazy.
That's likely a Hall of Famer too, right there.
I would assume. Chiefs selected Dontre Poe from Memphis, defensive tackle. Looked like he had a solid career, but nothing crazy. I don't see any sack leaders or anything like that.
Yeah.
I don't know how long he was in the league for exactly, but
he played. Let's see, he played 8 years.
Okay.
I played for Dallas 1 year too, which I didn't even realize. But his career was well over when he got there. He was basically a backup.
Okay.
But the guy's 6'3" and 342, so massive dude in the middle.
Big fella.
To clog up the middle, 20.5 career sacks. That's pretty damn good.
Dang. Okay, maybe.
So
it seemed like he was good support at least when he was there.
Yeah.
Eagles selected Fletcher Cox with a 12 overall pick. But I mean, what a pick at 12.
No doubt, future Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
I mean,
he has damn near as many accolades as some of these other guys do.
He does. And I mean, one of the most impressive things about him is the consistency over his entire career. The guy's been a thorn.
Oh, yeah.
To opposing teams. And, I mean, just performs. I mean, even now, even this last year, performed at a high level.
He's a problem. After 11 years at that position is wild.
Won the Super Bowl, you know. All-decade team, 2010 all-decade team.
Not many people can do that.
70 career sacks. That's phenomenal.
Yes.
I mean, guy's a freaking beast. He plays
fella.
Like he's 350. He's 310.
Good Lord.
But, yeah, always a problem.
For sure. 13th overall with the Cardinals, they got Michael Floyd. I remember his name, but, you know, it doesn't look like he ever did anything crazy.
Really didn't. He was quite a journeyman. I mean,
he 4 different teams over, was that 6 years, 7 seasons?
He was out with the Cardinals there for 4 years, and that's really kind of, and after that, he just kind of disappeared.
Yeah, I mean, 3 different teams in 3 years is kind of the sign of someone fading out.
Yeah.
But, you know, maybe not too bad. He did win the Super Bowl.
He did.
I don't know how much he contributed, but he was on the team at the very least.
With the Patriots, I guess?
Yeah, that would have been 51.
Yep.
But good on him. Not a terrible pick, but
No.
Cardinals, what are you going to do?
Right.
14th pick overall with the Rams, Michael Brockers, defensive end. It looked like he did okay.
Yeah.
He was a solid pick, good person, just never had much to him.
Played 8 years for the Rams. Played one his last year was with the Lions. Was actually a captain on the Lions defense, which is kind of strange. I don't know. Not a whole lot more to add there.
No,
Really.
really isn't. Seahawks 15th overall, Bruce Irvin, West Virginia defensive end.
Yeah. So that guy, really good player for sure.
Yeah, I mean this is them again, Legion of
Building
Boom.
that team, right?
It's been 2 of the 3 years now we've gone over.
Yeah.
And they've just kept building the defense, it feels like.
Yeah.
I think they got a tackle in the last draft, but I mean the Seahawks are obviously working their way up at this point.
Yeah, he was there for 3 years. I mean, had a great career, 56.5 total sacks.
Won a Super Bowl.
Won a Super Bowl, and I think he was one of these examples of free agency.
Mm-hmm.
He got a Super Bowl, then he went and got his money.
Yep.
And that's why we were kind of saying it doesn't always pan out, because he went to the Raiders, had a couple seasons, solid seasons, and then he went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different teams in the next 5 years.
Not a great sign.
So he got his money and then just tried to stay in, I guess, as long as he could. But
what are you going to do?
What are you going to do?
Hey, that's what happens. You win with your team. You get that Super Bowl ring, which is kind of everyone's end goal. I mean, Hall of Fame probably is, but initially it's a Super Bowl, and then from there you try and get your money.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, that's it.
Okay. 16th overall for the Jets, Quentin Copples. Yeah, I guess it'd be Copples.
Yep.
Defensive end. It looked like he had a good rookie season. Then he kind of just existed.
Yeah.
Not much to him.
Not much to him. Played there for 3 years. Went to the Dolphins for a year. Rams for a short stint. I don't know. 16.5 sacks. Not a whole lot there.
No.
And remember his name. Remember him coming out, being a hot thing, and it just kind of
fizzled.
Yep.
Sorry about it.
It happens.
17th overall with the Bengals. They went Dre Kirkpatrick out of Alabama. It looked like he was always fighting for a starting position when I was looking at his stats.
Mm-hmm.
It looked like he did pretty well, but he had his first year at tendonitis, so he was out until week 8.
Really?
And then after that, he got a concussion in week 12 and was out for the rest of the season. And then from there, he just had to battle back to the starting position for numerous years.
Just never really amounted. I know when he came out, I mean, again, you're coming from Alabama, you have high expectations.
Right.
That is a pro-style collegiate program. Mm-hmm. Nick Saban had there, and just disappointing.
Yeah.
There's no other way to say it.
No, because he was battling with Pac-Man Jones and a few other people they had, and he just never got over the hump. And when he did, it was too late. He was older, and
I really thought when they drafted him, he was going to be a really good one.
That's just how it goes.
Out. Yep.
18th overall Chargers selected Melvin Ingram. This was a great pick at the time. I mean, he had a great career with the Chargers.
Yeah.
There was some issues here and there, but it's only because I remember specific games that he would blow a sack or not get somewhere quick enough. But he's damn good.
Yep.
Or at least he was. And then I remember when he went to Pittsburgh, he was still really good. It was just because the Chargers wouldn't pay him. And then he went to the Chiefs to try and get a ring, I would assume.
Yeah.
Playing him was a nightmare.
And he's still there.
And he's with Miami now.
So, Miami now. You're right.
Yeah, and I think he's doing fine there. I mean, he's getting probably towards the end of his career since he's still there. And I didn't realize he was drafted in 2012.
I mean, the guy's 6'2", 250. I mean, that is a very stout, compact linebacker.
That's someone for agility. Get to the quarterback quick.
And, 58.5 career sacks. I mean, this is probably a Hall of Famer at some point.
Maybe.
Might be a while down the road,
right.
But he very, very, very solid player.
I remember some injury problems because between him and Bosa at the time, they're a great duo. But just it felt like every time there was one of the two out, similar to how Mike Williams and Keenan Allen are.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. I did not hate that pick in the end.
Sure.
19th overall, Bears selected Shea McClellan.
I don't have a fucking clue.
Yeah, so
who that is.
He was injury prone and then retired due to concussion issues after his 5th season.
Okay.
So he was Super Bowl champ at 51, so he definitely got traded to Patriots. Probably. Yeah.
Is that where he got the Super Bowl?
Yep, that would have been where he got the Super Bowl.
Okay.
I don't know much else. That's all I could really find on him. So
yeah, there's really not a whole lot to report there, honestly.
He got a Super Bowl ring, got out.
Yeah.
Can't blame a guy.
Nope.
20th overall, the Titans got Kendall Wright from Baylor, wide receiver. You know, it looked like he had really consistent stats over his years, but it looked like they were constantly wide receiver 3 stats.
Yeah.
And not to mention at this time, the Titans had Jake Locker from the previous draft.
Yeah.
So I think it was one of those you got drafted the Brown moments where you're just in a tough position, and you've got to be one of those top 2 dudes to be able to carry a team as a wide receiver, and it just doesn't work.
No, I agree. And like you say, I mean, he was a good supporting receiver, made his way around the league.
Mm-hmm.
Left the NFL in 2018 and wound up going to play for the Toronto Argonauts.
This was the guy that went to the CFL.
Yep. 3 years after he left the NFL, he got on up there. Off-season and or practice squad member only, so he was just on the practice squad.
So it seems like it's not a bad pick. Maybe for a first round, it'd be considered a bad pick,
right?
Considering where his role ended up.
I'd say that'd be true.
But when your quarterback's ass, so are the wide receivers. You can't just make it appear. Sadly,
that's right.
And tough for him. 21th overall, Patriots, Chandler Jones.
Great pick.
I mean, great pick. Mm-hmm. Recently, it doesn't seem like he's been doing too well, but when he was on the field, he was a freaking beast.
So it almost looks like, because they don't have current, so it looks like maybe he's retired from the Raiders.
Oh, yeah. Have you seen any of the social media stuff
No.
he's done? Oh, he's a nut.
Is he? Oh, really?
Well, he's up there with Antonio Brown.
Oh, Lord.
They were making jokes about them making a CTE podcast.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, so he's been derailed since leaving the NFL.
Okie dokie.
Hope he's doing well. Apparently mental health stuff was getting to him at some point, but
a shit ton of accolades.
While he was in the NFL, he was a beast.
112 sacks. I mean, just a standout. I mean, and again, depending on how it goes, probably a Hall of Famer there.
Probably, assuming he hasn't burned the bridge with the NFL. They might even have Antonio Brown and him in the same Hall of Fame just to make it
entertaining.
That would be probably the most entertaining Hall of Fame ceremony to date. But we'll save that for the year that it happens.
There you go.
22nd overall pick with the Browns, Brandon Whedon, quarterback from Oklahoma State. Now, I found the funniest stat I could find for this guy.
Yeah?
His first game ever as a Brown, he had a 5.1 passer rating, 6th lowest in a season opener by any quarterback attempting 15 passes since the merger in 1970.
Oh my gosh. No shit.
He picked it back up week 2. I did look at that just to make sure he didn't get cut right there. But a 5.1 passer rating. And they had 15 attempts or more.
That's brutal.
That is so sad. And you got to feel for the guy.
Well, he's part of the Browns quarterback saga, right?
Yes.
And he's, I don't know how many seasons we should do a special on that, but they, with quarterbacks, the Browns, what was that? Probably 12 seasons they
at least
drafted.
I mean, it was at least 12 quarterbacks.
And this guy was just, I mean, when he came to Dallas, I was like, oh my gosh. I mean,
no, thank you.
He had a weird throw. And it was when Romo was hurt, I think.
Oh boy.
And that was all we had, and one other dickweed, and it was just like, what are these guys? I mean, how are they even in the league that long? I don't know.
I know.
He was terrible.
Yeah, pretty rough.
He really was.
Ended with Houston in 2018.
Brutal.
What are you going to do when you get started there, the Browns? Just one of those sad stories from this era.
Yeah.
But a name on the list, and he was on a special Browns list.
There it is.
Good for him.
Yep.
23rd overall, Lions got Riley Reif, tackle from Iowa. I mean, it looks like this guy had a phenomenal career as a tackle, from what I saw. He was with Detroit for 4 years, then Vikings for 3, Cincy for 1, Chicago for another, and now he's been with New England.
Yep, and he's still there.
He's still there. So,
164 games played, 149 games started. That's pretty damn good.
Damn reliable for a tackle.
Yeah.
Those guys usually drop like flies.
Yep.
And I think he did have a couple injuries at one point, but it doesn't look like it's impacted him too much.
Yep. No, he's a very solid pick.
So, hey, what are you going to do?
Right.
Steelers with the 24th overall pick, David DeCastro, offensive guard out of Stanford. It looks like this guy did really well as an offensive guard. I don't know how you judge that on the sense of Pro Bowl, but maybe, he just never let anybody get to the quarterback or one of those stats.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's always hard to judge the guards when they get drafted, but he has good accolades, and he just played for the Steelers, then resigned after he was let go.
He started all but one game of his career.
That's amazing.
That's pretty impressive. And I just remember the name, and 66, and he was just solid as could be.
Hey.
You never heard anything about him. You didn't hear penalties. You didn't hear, like you said, sacks. So
hey, that's all you need.
That's a solid pick by the Steelers there.
25th overall pick from the Patriots, Dante Hightower, linebacker out of Alabama. Now, I mean, fucking demon.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? I mean, all the accolades you want, Patriots all-dynasty team. He's currently an inside linebackers coach for the Patriots.
Oh, that's wild.
Which is crazy to think about. Usually that doesn't happen quite that quick.
Right.
But given everything considered, I'm not too surprised.
Yeah.
But he had a phenomenal career.
Yeah, he did. He had
a problem.
27 sacks, but more was his tackles because of the position, right?
Right.
569 tackles. And, I mean, just a stalwart on that Patriots defense. 6'3", 260. I mean, big ass dude.
Good Lord.
And just brought it like a son of a gun.
A weapon.
Yep.
26 overall Texans. Whitney Mercilus, defensive end out of Illinois. Not much here. Played for 9 years with Houston and 1 year with Green Bay. Looked like he had pretty solid stats for a defensive end. Wasn't a superstar, but held his own.
Yeah. 58 sacks, 362 tackles. Again, okay. Nothing, not bad.
What are you gonna do?
Not off the charts. So,
Bengals had the 27th pick overall. Kevin Zeitler, offensive guard out of Wisconsin. He did amazing for the Bengals.
Yeah.
And onward, because he was Cincy, Cleveland, Giants, Baltimore to now, and it looks like he was a damn good offensive guard too.
Yeah.
From everything I saw.
Yeah, no doubt about it. 6'4", 339.
Jesus.
That's huge for a guard.
That is a big man.
And again, like we've said, I mean, those Wisconsin, offensive linemen, they just know how to grow them there.
Yep.
I don't know what it is, but
corn-fed.
They sure as hell do. And I mean, this son of a bitch, I mean, he was consistent as could be. Started all but one game, 182 games. Started 181. Played 182. Started 181.
That's amazing.
So,
28th overall was for the Packers. Nick Perry, linebacker out of USC. For everything I saw, looked like a good linebacker. Not a superstar, but a solid career at Green Bay.
Yeah, 6 years, 6'3", 265. That's a huge. Golly, I mean, the guy's
Husky.
legs are as big as our torsos.
Good heavens.
Each one of them.
Oh.
Wow. But solid player.
Yeah.
Probably not a Hall of Famer, but 32 sacks, 213 tackles.
Good supporting linebacker.
No doubt.
And didn't, wasn't a first pick that did something stupid and never played again, at least.
Right.
Vikings with the 29th overall pick, Harrison Smith, safety out of Notre Dame. He had a lot of good accolades, and he's still with Minnesota now.
Yeah, I think he is a free agent this year.
Oh.
Actually. And with the Cowboys getting Mike Zimmer,
there's a shot they bring over old pal.
Harrison Smith was somebody I was because I said safety earlier. Dallas needed a safety.
At this point, I bet you they get him cheap and get him as like a not backup, but someone that can compete.
That's what I'm thinking. And again, the fact that he knows Zimmer's defense so well, be a big. Listen to this. I mean, this guy played. He's been there. What did you say? 11 years.
11 years now. Yeah. Or was there 11 years?
Yeah. 1,039 tackles.
Wow.
1,039 tackles.
Whatever that math is, that's damn good.
86 pass deflections, 34 interceptions. I mean,
that's a hell of a career.
That's a hell of a career.
Great pick for the Vikings at 29 in this draft, honestly.
That is Studley for sure.
I don't know who
Notre Dame player.
Yeah, Notre Dame. 30th pick overall, 49ers got A.J. Jenkins, wide receiver out of Illinois. He had a terrible career.
He did.
He played 3 games his rookie season.
Wow.
He then got traded or picked up by it would have been traded to the Chiefs, and his first catch was on the Chiefs.
Really?
So it just never worked out, is what I saw, what I was reading about. I doubt, AJ, you're watching this, and if you are, I apologize, but it looked like, didn't go the way we thought it would.
Just didn't happen, did it?
And I blame Alex Smith. That's on him. Honestly, he wasn't giving you good looks.
Yep, true.
Don't take it to heart. I'm just reading what I saw. So.
Yeah, on the uptake here, I mean, hey, 6 foot, 200 pounds. There you go. Born in September, he's got that going for him.
Go play basketball in China. I'm sure it'll be fun. But sorry about it.
Yeah, it just never worked out.
31st pick overall, Buccaneers.
Ooh.
Doug Martin, running back out of Boise State.
Hell of a player.
It looked like he was battling a bunch of injuries throughout his career, is what I kind of gathered.
Yep.
He had a really good career.
He did,
but it was just not as long due to the injury.
It just never got all the way there. But when he was playing, he was a great player.
I think I saw a couple 1,000-yard seasons rushing, and then all the other ones were shorter due to injury.
Yeah.
So it's like he got there and just couldn't get over the hump almost.
Nah.
I don't remember his career at all, but that's what I gathered. So that makes me feel better. That's kind of how you felt.
Yeah, exactly the same way. I mean, 5,356 career rushing yards, 30 rushing touchdowns, 148 receptions, 1,200 receiving yards. He could do it all.
Yeah.
But again, he couldn't stay healthy.
That's a shame.
He was always one of those guys that's like it'll happen for him this year.
Right.
And it just never.
He'd
never
injure his
did.
toe, his ankle, his foot. Yeah.
Always something.
32 last pick in the draft. Giants or the first round.
Sure.
Giants selected David Wilson, running back out of Virginia Tech, and that I saw about this guy is he played one full season and then had a career-ending neck injury.
Oh, crap.
And so then that was all they wrote for him.
And he was also a return specialist, so
that's what it was.
That was probably what happened.
He was really good. He had a really good first year returning. He had some accolade for like the most return yards that season.
Yeah, NFL kickoff return yards leader for his rookie season.
Thank you.
Wow.
And then he got injured, and they said it was career-ending. I think the doctor said after the surgery, if he ever played again, his life would be at risk.
No shit.
So he cut it short.
He had 1,755 return yards and actually did score, well, total of 7 touchdowns. I don't know how many that was, if he had one run returning or not, but
it's a shame. That's one of those just hate to see it for him. But it is what it is.
Yep.
At least he ends on a high note.
Yeah, right.
That's terrible. I take it back. That's just hate to see that. Now, that was the end of the first round. On to the honorable mentions.
Yes, sir.
We can keep these short. You can add if you remember them or not.
Sure, we'll do.
But in the second round for the Bears, Alshon Jeffrey looked like he had some pretty good stats. I didn't include everyone that was a Pro Bowl on this list. I just included the ones that had the most accolades.
Yeah, sure.
He looked solid. Can't remember where else he went, but
yeah, he
good standout seasons. Then it looked like the rest.
Jeffrey.
Yeah.
He played for the Panthers. I think he had a season or two there that was really good.
Oh yeah.
And tall receiver, if I remember right, played with Cam Newton. I think
can get up. That makes sense. Shortly after, Seattle drafted Bobby Wagner. Yeah. Which is crazy. Legion of Boom's complete at this point.
I mean, it's insane. They're drafting over these 10, 11, and 12 seasons, 2010, 11, 12.
Mostly defense, and it's working.
And they're getting. I mean, no wonder that defense became so great. The draft picks were phenomenal.
Trying to remember where Marshawn Lynch comes into this.
Yeah.
But I'm sure at some point in the next couple of weeks we'll get there. Zach Brown, linebacker, got drafted by the Titans in the second round shortly after Bobby Wagner. It looked like he was a solid player for being a second round pick almost. Did pretty well with the Titans, and then I can't remember how his career ended.
I don't remember him very much.
Levante David for the Bucs.
Yep.
Second round. I think he's still at Tampa Bay right now, and he's got a Super Bowl with them, obviously, when Tom Brady was there. He's done pretty well, honestly. Thought I'd throw him in.
Yeah, for sure.
After Levante David in the second round, Casey Hayward got drafted by Green Bay. Solid player. He was with Green Bay for most of his career, and then Chargers. He did well. I liked him.
Yeah.
For end of the second round, that was a great pick.
Yeah, very good player for sure.
I want to say he was slightly injury prone, but I'm just probably thinking of every Chargers player ever.
He had
not bad.
No, 448 tackles, 112 pass defenses, 25 picks. I mean, that's pretty damn good.
Yeah, they let him go when they had to, but I think he went to play with the Broncos afterwards. The Chargers.
He went to the Raiders. Yep, and then a year there, and then Falcons.
Okay.
Yep.
He did well. I liked him. I don't hate that they cut him, but I didn't miss him. I didn't not miss him. I don't know what I'm saying at this point.
Let me real quick just to back up once on David Levante.
Yeah.
Of course, that guy is still playing, like you said, but 1,480 total tackles.
Good Lord.
33.5 sacks, 28 forced fumbles, 12 interceptions, and 3 touchdowns.
That's wild for a linebacker.
Guy's a damn beast.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I mean, I thought it was him and who's the other guy on defense for the Bucs that's amazing? Something with like 3 letters.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Ripple.
Why can't I remember his name?
Queen?
Mm-mm.
No.
Well, it could be, but I'm thinking of on the line.
Oh.
Defensive line.
The Hawaiian dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let us know who you think we're talking about.
Yeah, there you go.
You know, everyone knows.
Vita Vea?
Vita Vea.
Yep.
Thank you.
Great player.
That duo is tremendous still, and it's
yeah.
crazy to think about. Third round, 75th pick, Seattle got Russell Wilson.
Ooh, doggies.
Loading up on defense, and then they get Russell Wilson in the third round out of Wisconsin.
I mean, he's just apparently the guy of the podcast. This is the Russell Wilson podcast.
This is the Russell Wilson show.
I mean, he gets released, the cap hit, same time we talk about the draft. I mean,
it timed out. It timed out very well. We planned all of this. We told them when to release him, actually.
It's shocking.
But yeah, so he was drafted this draft. Obviously, we don't have to talk about him much. Everyone knows what happened there. Tremendous stats for what it's worth. They should have ran the fucking ball.
Yep.
You get the point.
And one player behind that.
Yeah. And one right behind Russell Wilson for the Texans was Brandon Brooks out of Miami University.
Woo-hoo!
Offensive guard, and had a tremendous career. Houston, I don't think he played with Deshaun Watson, so he's probably with Houston for a bit of the dark ages.
Yeah, three seasons there.
And then he went over to Philadelphia where he got a Super Bowl ring.
Got a Super Bowl, 114 games played, 108 games started.
Hell yeah.
So 6'5", 335, a big dude. Arguably, one of the best pro players to ever come out of Miami.
As far as I'm concerned, it's him and Ben Roethlisberger.
Yeah.
So good on him. I get the name out.
Yep.
But yeah, great pick for them. Jets, third round, picked up Demario Davis, linebacker out of Arkansas State. He had some good accolades. First team All-Pro in 2019. I don't remember him the slightest, given he was on the Jets, but quite the steal for the third round, honestly.
Yeah, and honestly, I mean, over his career, total tackles 1,257.
Damn good.
42.5 sacks. I mean, that's kicking ass.
It is. And then Philadelphia picked up Nick Foles in the third round.
That turned out pretty good, didn't it?
I'd say they win.
Yeah.
I mean, he still holds some records, which is crazy. And not to mention the Super Bowl, he came out for Carson Wentz and won that whole thing.
So not only do you get Brandon Brooks, right? You get Nick Foles. Then, I guess Brandon Brooks eventually got to Philadelphia.
Yeah, he got there.
And then you got Fletcher Cox in the first round. So that's
crazy lineup for the Eagles
again,
this year.
No wonder.
They had no idea at the time.
No wonder they did so well.
Third round, 92nd overall, Indiana got T.Y. Hilton. Phenomenal.
Awesome.
I mean,
awesome pick.
Amazing wide receiver.
I mean,
as long as he was in the NFL.
Just shy of 10,000 receiving yards.
That had to hurt a little bit that he couldn't get.
53 touchdowns.
Hey, was it T.Y.?
Yep. And he played one season with Dallas.
That's right.
2 years ago.
I forgot about
that.
And
he became Mr. Third Down for them.
That's right.
I'll never forget, they were playing, I think it was the Eagles. It was a huge game. They were backed up 3rd and 30, and he catches a bomb for first down, and it kind of became his thing where he became the third down man.
Wow.
And I was really kind of disappointed they didn't bring him back this last year, but it was fun to see him in a Cowboy uniform for one season.
I mean, still blue and white. He probably had something. Fourth round, Washington got Kirk Cousins.
Wow.
That's funny to think about now that he was a Redskin.
You know what's even funnier about that? No, we've always said that Dak is Kirk Cousins. We've heard that said before. They are both fourth-round picks.
Yes.
Which I didn't realize until this moment.
I didn't even realize he went to Michigan State.
Yeah.
I mean, crazy guy. I vaguely remember when he got traded to the Vikings or signed with the Vikings.
Yeah.
Because it was, I can't remember the exacts, but I remember him getting traded.
Yes.
And it's crazy to think that he started with Washington, because I thought at one point a lot of people thought he wasn't a guy. Or I guess they still do. I don't know what I'm saying. That.
No, I mean, he's a solid quarterback.
Every year it feels like people question him, and he still puts up decent stats.
He does.
He's not Tom Brady, but he's not like Josh Rosen.
And he has a pretty damn good attitude and rolls with it all quite well.
The Kirk Cochains thing from last year was quite hilarious for what it's worth.
Most game-winning drives in a single season, he's tied with Matt Stafford at 8. So he has an NFL record. And most fourth quarter... Oh, you already have that? Sorry.
No, you're fine, but you're...
Most fourth quarter comebacks in a single season?
8. Tied with Matt Stafford.
Yeah, how about that?
Crazy. It's like almost damn near the same two people and whatnot.
That's bizarre.
And then on top of that, we have Josh Norman drafted in the 5th round by Carolina.
Hello pick.
That was crazy.
Hell
I
of
don't
a
even know
pick.
if he was that good ever, but it was always funny hearing about him fighting with people.
Oh my
Obviously, of the
gosh.
infamous OBJ Josh Norman
Yep.
beef, an iconic video.
One of the
if you
all-time
haven't seen
wildest shits ever.
I'll have it playing right here as we talk about him, but I mean, that game went on for so much longer than it should have.
Yeah.
And it was crazy. Neither one of them got ejected because every other play it was someone throwing hands. I mean, I think the game got delayed by at least a half an hour because they had to constantly break them up.
Like you say, if you haven't seen it, you need to go look it up because it's so unusual. I mean, it would never be allowed to happen.
Oh,
it
no.
was, and even then,
It wasn't allowed then.
it wasn't allowed then. This was like something from back like Conrad Dobler from the Bills and Dick Butkus, where they used to spit on each other's hands and shit like that, and just keep doing it. And I don't know. That was the most amazing thing. It's like, how is this not being stopped?
Oh yeah.
So
Everyone was lost. I still remember like it was yesterday. Giants versus the Panthers, and they're throwing each other.
yeah,
I mean, it wasn't as bad as like AJ Green versus the Jaguars throwing the dude in a headlock, but it was some solid fighting without anybody getting really penalized. Well, the guy got penalized. They weren't ejected for it though.
yeah.
Crazy.
And I think he and Dez got it when he went to the Redskins. Then I know he and Dez got into it a few
Yeah.
times as well. So that was always interesting too.
It doesn't make sense. Good shit talker. I respect
Yep.
that.
16 career interceptions, 3 touchdowns. So
Pretty good.
pretty damn good player.
Okay, so stats back it up too. I thought I remember that was one of the years that Carolina might have gone to the Super Bowl. Or
That might
around
have been.
there.
You
So
might be
It
right.
might not. It wasn't 2012, but he was on that team. Maybe.
Yeah.
I can't remember, but good on him. In the supplemental draft this year, or that 2012
Yeah.
year, Browns got Josh Gordon.
Wow, no kidding.
Talk about a guy.
Yeah.
to get in the supplemental draft.
And how the dude he just never fully amounted, but he had all the talent in the world.
Well, he had, I think, a couple games where he was like going off.
Yeah.
And then he'd get busted for being high.
Yep.
And then he'd come back and he'd have a game going off, and then he'd get busted for being high.
6'3", 224. I mean, guy was a physical specimen.
It's a shame he couldn't.
Yeah.
He couldn't stay sober enough. Not that I think he should have, but
No,
you
you're
know,
right.
It's
Yeah.
like, and I think even then he said in an interview that he got high for the games. Like he was high during the games,
And then he played in was it the USFL, I guess?
something like that.
One of those, because the last team he played for was the Seattle Sea Dragons in 2023.
Yeah, that would have been that XFL or USFL.
Yeah.
Because that was before the UFL, which is the combination of the two.
Yeah, XFL. You're right. Yep, exactly.
And then 2 of the undrafted guys in this draft were Justin Tucker for the Ravens, which need we say more,
Right.
and Vontaze Burfict for Cincinnati. Arguably the reason Antonio Brown is the way that he is these days.
Knocked the crazy into him.
That was one of the most entertaining Bengals-Steelers games I've ever watched.
They were just, and you got to love the guy because the Steelers would just thrash Cincinnati at that point, and it was kind of fun
Oh, yeah.
to see Cincinnati
I loved it.
bite back. I mean,
Given it was a little bit much, sure.
sure.
But, like he said, it was at the time, Steelers would just harp on the Bengals, it felt like.
Yeah.
And so finally, I don't know who called the play, but he eventually was like, fuck this, and he leveled Antonio Brown.
Oh my gosh.
A blindside hit, if I remember right.
Yeah,
and
it
then
was, and just
Juju Smith-Schuster did the same back to him.
yep.
And I think at that point they started ejecting people, maybe.
I think so.
If my memory serves me, it's been a while, but
It wasn't the exact same thing as the Panthers Josh Norman thing,
right.
But it was awfully entertaining. It was very close.
I mean, the Bengals-Steelers games will always be some of the best games to watch because the second time they play their division, when it's cold out, it's snowing, those people, it's one of the last few divisions I'd say that they genuinely hate each other.
Yeah.
There's like a legitimate hate.
Yep. 6'1", 255
Perfect.
as a linebacker. Yeah. That's
He looked like he was 300.
that is thick.
He leveled Brown.
Oh my gosh.
Hope again.
Big ass dude.
CTE podcast. Brown, don't kill me for this. He leveled you, brother. But yeah,
Interesting.
that concludes the 2012 draft. I
right.
mean, frankly, the Colts didn't exactly win this draft. I'm trying to remember who else. Redskins did okay, but neither one of them really amounted to what they could have been,
Right.
which sucks.
Yep. The only thing I would add on that is it's wild to me looking through here. that the Redskins got RG3, and they also drafted Alfred Morris, who was a great running back for them.
Kirk Cousins.
Oh, and Kirk Cousins. Yeah, okay.
Did I just put that together that Kirk Cousins and RG3 were drafted the same year?
I think you're right. Is that crazy shit or what?
That feels wrong to know. Yeah, 4th round. That's wild. So that's why they probably traded Kirk Cousins at the time to the Vikings.
That's exactly right.
And then RG3 bailed early.
That's so weird.
That's not...
No, that's a hell of an observation.
That's fucked.
Yeah.
On multiple levels.
Wow.
And I mean, the Ravens got Justin Tucker undrafted, but I don't even know where they were in the whole scheme of the first round of the draft.
That's crazy shit.
Who did they get? I obviously read it off at some point. But
where was it?
Who the Ravens got this year? Or do they not have a first round pick?
Let's see.
What am I missing here?
Let's put this puzzle together.
You would think I was more organized given I made all these sheets.
It actually doesn't look like they have a pick.
Okay, so the Ravens didn't have a first round pick, but they still got Justin Tucker.
Yep.
Who, if we redid everything, Justin Tucker probably be top 32.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, I get it's a kicker, but
so in hindsight they did, right? I mean,
yeah.
How many games?
I guess like Bobby Wagner and then would have gone up there, but you have to assume Justin Tucker would have. Is it crazy to say that Justin Tucker would have gone a first round in 2012 draft?
I would say so. Oh yeah. I mean, the most accurate kicker in NFL history. I mean, how many games have the Ravens gotten because of him? I'd be interested to see that stat.
Yeah. A lot of these guys would fall out of the first round, but I have to think Justin Tucker would have gone first round.
So I would definitely say so, yeah.
That's crazy to think about.
Anyway, yeah.
And there's a little bit more offensive in this draft than there was last draft. Last draft was all that lines that we had to kind of talk through.
Yeah.
This draft had a little bit more names that we knew.
It really did.
And, we'll get there as we get there.
Yep.
But that's about all I've got.
I want to just wrap up hitting some cap space real quick. We talked a little bit about it. Commanders, Patriots, Titans, 1, 2, 3. So Commanders with new ownership.
Yep. Fresh start.
And $90 million available. They're going to be spending some money. It's shocking that the Patriots are second at 88, so $88 million. So they've got plenty of funds to rebuild that team.
They've got time or money. Sorry.
Titans again, third at $75 million.
That'll be interesting to watch. See what they do this year.
And we did mention the two teams that are on here. I mean, they're shocking to me. Really, the Lions and the Texans both at like 70 and 50 million.
I mean, Texans have the rookie quarterback. The Lions, it doesn't feel like the Lions have any standouts.
Yeah.
Obviously, they have Laporta. They have the 2 wide receivers.
Right.
They have the 2 running backs, but they're all rookies or, freshly there. It feels like. I might be wrong, but
Cincinnati and Philly, respectively, 48 million and 41 million available. So they've got plenty of room. Let's flip it just for interest's sake. Look on the bottom to see who's in the biggest trouble.
I know a few of them.
The Bills, Chargers, Dolphins in that order.
Yep.
And all 3 of them are within $1 million of each other at about 20 million. That's interesting.
I'm curious what the Dolphins do.
Yeah.
Because they've got a lot of superstars, but they're also not much money left to go around.
Right.
So I don't know at all who needs to be re-signed and who doesn't, who's going to walk and who won't. But that'll be interesting. You would assume they're going to go with Achane or Mozart.
Right.
And they're probably going to get rid of the other one, right?
I would think so, yeah.
And then on top of it, it's like, are they going to try and free it up with Waddle? They got to keep Waddle because Tyreek doesn't stay healthy long enough.
That's right.
So then what do you do about with tight ends? Who do you get rid of on the defense? Ramsey wasn't shit, but they all blamed the coach.
Yeah.
Do they keep blaming the coach or does one of them leave?
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Exactly.
That's a lot of superstars, and that never lasts. And last year was their year, and boy, did they fuck it up.
Yeah, they really did. And again, I mean, the Bills are kind of in a similar place themselves. They've kind of pushed the chips in, if you will. This looks like if you were successful and you're in this cap hell,
that's different.
You
get a pass.
You did go all in, and so it'll be interesting to see what Jim Harbaugh does with the Chargers.
Yeah, there's some obvious names that'll be leaving.
Yeah,
and it'll be interesting if they get hurt or if people take new deals thinking of hope, which I would not hate.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
So anyway, there's just a little high level cap space review as we kind of head into the season. Seems like the time to take a look at it.
We have to start glancing at it. People start making moves everywhere.
Yeah, and I would imagine. I mean, I'm just looking here. It says, dead money out to the side.
Mm-hmm.
So, the Chargers have $27 million. The Jets have $28 million. Lions have $23 million. So some of these, Seahawks have $35 million. So a lot of this dead money, falls off in a year
Right.
then. So it'll be interesting to see how that all shakes out. Anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
cool.
I'm excited. That was the podcast.
Right
I
on.
don't have anything else if you don't.
I can't think of anything else. I
All
think
right.
that's good.
Well,
And welcome to the last week of the NFL year as we
Yes.
close it out. And when we see you next week, we'll literally be the first day of the NFL season 2024, which is awesome.
we look forward to it. We are excited to see you guys on the other side. As for this, we will see you all next week for this is 17 for
Yeah, this was 17.
episode 18.
Yeah, 18, and our St. Patty's Day special next week.
Yep. Look forward to it, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank
Koi
you.
Pound at